So welcome everybody to another webinar that features the Labor Market and Career Information website. And today we're going to be looking at the Texas AutoCoder, Skills to Work, and another resource actually. So it's a much deeper dive. Our presenter today is Mr. Major Jones, and I do want to acknowledge Mrs. Lorena Knight, who just joined us, who works at TWC, and I want to give a big shout out to Miss Knight, who introduced me to Major, and he has been just a joy to work with. So thank you so much, Miss Knight, for being here to support Major this morning. I also have in the house with me from Train PD, Dr. Olga Escamilla as my backup host, and Liz Moya is offering tech support. Without these two ladies, it would be much more difficult to roll through this. So thank you so much. So why are we here today? We are here to hear from Mr. Major Jones. He is back, and a little bit about Major. Major Jones is an education outreach specialist at the Texas Workforce Commission. He has been with the agency for 2 years now. Prior to this role, he worked in secondary education as an educator and family advocate, and I may add that he was also a middle school teacher. And so he did that for many years. He is passionate about helping students align their interests and talents in education to potential career options. So at this time, I would like to welcome Major. He's going to bring up his video camera and bring up his PowerPoint. And here we go. On your phone. There you go.
All right.
We
I just want to say
all
hello
do
to
it.
everybody.
We all did.
Hope y'all having a great morning. Look forward to presenting to you, and hopefully you enjoy the information that you get. Kind of what we're going to do today is I'm going to give a quick overview of Texas Reality Check. I know some of you may have been with us at our last time, and if you were, thank you for coming back. And if you hadn't, well, I guess this will be a little bit of new information for you. We're going to talk about two of the other resources that we have here at Texas Workforce Commission, our Texas AutoCoder, which is one that I really love to use with the students that I talk with, and then Skills for Work. And I would really encourage you that if there's something you'd like to share, question that you'd like to ask, please unmute or raise your hand so that we know that you're asking. I want to make this as conversational as I can, as interactive as I can. So it's something that we're going to remember. And so if everybody put their name in and what they're doing?
Yep, and we have a real cross-section Major this morning from across Texas. So we've got a whole bunch of different people and a lot of, several people that weren't on the webinar earlier this month. So new crew this morning.
Okay. Well, welcome. First thing we're going to need is 12 volunteers to help us with the Texas Reality Check. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the different sections, give you a little bit of background on what the tool does, and then I kind of want us to work together as a team to actually go through Texas Reality Checks and see how much our collective answers, what lifestyle it gives us as far as how much it's going to cost, and then you'll be able to get an idea how to use the tool. All right. And so it will be a couple of minutes before we actually get to doing participating in this. But what I want you to think about when I'm going to read the question out and when you're picking your answer, I want you to do it as though you're in your early 20s. And so some of us, it's a little far back, others we're a little closer to it, but that's the mind frame that I want you to answer the questions from. And that way we kind of will mirror what some of the young adults that we work with, where they are and what they may be thinking. And so if you can take a moment, this LMCI.state.tx.us, this is our homepage. And this is where you're going to find all of our resources that we use for exploration and for projections on career growth. You can find everything here at LMCI.state.tx.us. A lot of times I tell students, if you just Google LMCI, it's always the first or second option. And so what we'll do is talk today about Texas Reality Check. It's our third option on the right. And there are three sections to Texas Reality Check. We're going to do as a group the lifestyle calculator. But I want to first kind of just give you a little brief about the occupation calculator. And I will tell you that this is really starting to be one that I'm liking. And what you do with this one is once you pick your city, it's actually going to give you the occupations in that city and what they make. And then you can begin to answer your 12 questions. And it's going to take or subtract the expense. And so what a person can do is once they do this tool here, is once they get to the end, if they've gone over budget, then they can go back and they can readjust their budget, or they can go, maybe I need to readjust what occupation that I'm looking at. And so it gives them something to think about. The other section is the quick view calculator. I've had students in the past that just want to answer the questions. And so what it does give you is all 12 questions on one page. A person can come, get their answer choices, and then at the end, see how much their lifestyle will cost them. But the one we'll do today, we're going to do the life skill calculator. And this is a fun one as well. We're going to use the beautiful city of Austin, Texas. I often tell Marie that when I was a teacher, I used to tell my students all the time how beautiful Austin was, because at the time I taught in Houston, and how I run into so many of my former students here. And so we're going to use Austin. And what we'll have is 12 questions. And the first one is going to be housing. So whoever's number one, be ready for that. Decide which housing that you'll get. And we'll get to that screen. And so you'll get to see it up close so it's not as difficult here. But what will be accounted for at the top is it's going to be a running tally of our expenses. When we get to the end, it is going to show us a total of our expenses. It's going to tell us how much our lifestyle will, but it also allows us to see occupations that pay for that lifestyle. And so the young person who's looking at this can actually look at careers that pay that much. And so they have something to work toward. And I often I have to tell the educators this when we're doing this. Yes, a lot of the students are not going to start out of school into these occupations, but it does give them something to shoot for. And if somebody has something in front of them that they want to earn, they're going to be willing to do the task that it takes to achieve that goal. One of the other options for here is when you go to the profile page, and then, sorry, let me go back. When you pick an occupation, it takes you to what's called an occupation profile page, and it's going to tell you some information about that job. But if you click on where it says Texas Career Check, it takes you to our occupation summary page, where you get a lot of information. The one that I like the most is the fourth option, where it will show regional data. So wherever your person is, because the information that our system gives us is state data as far as the occupation, how much the occupation is paying. If you want to know what it pays in your region, that fourth option, the Texas regional employment information, is the best place to go. What I want to ask are there any questions about the resource that I talked, and I know I talked fast with it, and any questions about what we're getting ready to do?
Major, what I did put in the chat pod right now, as people are putting in their questions, is I just reminded everybody that we're going to go live and walk through all the steps that you just talked about. So this was an overview, but he's gonna take us live to actually walk through all 12 steps of the Texas Reality Check, and that's why we needed volunteers. Okay. No question.
For each of the tools that we will talk about today, we will actually go live into them. No questions? All right. I either have done real well or y'all just not with me.
The questions are coming. We just have, I'm sure, right? Everybody, the questions are coming.
All right. So this is our homepage, and we're going to do Texas Reality Check. And again, I'm going to pick beautiful Austin, Texas. And so what we have here is our first question. I'll read you the questions, and let me make this a little smaller so it fits the whole screen. All right, can we see it? And so a huge part of being an adult is paying for your own living expense. You decide how much money you want to spend each month. And so here are your options. And so who's the first person who's going to answer for us today?
Ashley Winkle on deck. Okay, Ashley, here we go.
Hello.
Here I am.
Ashley, as a 20-year-old, are you willing to live at home with mom? Or are
Heck
you thinking
yeah.
about doing your own thing?
I think I'm gonna stay home, be smart.
Yeah. And I tell you, when I talk to a lot of students, they're constantly telling me, no, I'm gonna get my own apartment. And I ask why. Why?
For
Your
real.
parents don't have a problem. And as long as you're positive, you stay at home for a little while, get yourself together. But if you're gonna choose to live at home, let's pick that option. And right now, expenses are at 0. Who's there for number 2? This is our utility.
Kelly Meeks for utilities. Kelly, you ready? Thank you, Ashley.
I am
All
ready.
right.
So
Now, this is based on once you have a place to live, you're going to have to get you some light. You have to have water. I did not know people paid for water when I graduated college. That was a shock. Our young people get an opportunity to see this. You're going to have some internet hookup. So you decide the utilities that you want. And so now you have a choice here, and you can select one of the options. I'm sorry, it actually lets you pick a couple of options. You
okay.
get some internet, mobile phone.
All right. I definitely want my mobile phone. And so if I have a
Okay.
mobile phone, I probably have a hotspot, so I don't need an internet. But I definitely want cable.
All right. That's probably not a young person thinking there. Because they kill me with not wanting the cable. What about some electricity? Would you like some lights in your house?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you not want to be dark. So what about water and gas, or will you pick a place that just electricity only?
I'd really rather have just a place that covers everything but the electricity. So that would be utilities and trash and pickup and stuff. So yeah.
Expenses at $341. Our third question, we're at food. So another part of being an adult is buying your own food. You can choose to cook at home, grab fast food, eat at a restaurant, or combine the two. So you're going to review the different options and select the one that best fits you. So on this one, we're just picking one.
All right, so we have Romel.
Yes.
Romel is up next. Romel, go ahead.
I would combine, yes, good morning. I would combine both, eat at home and dine out. So the 450.
Well, let's see if they let us pick both. Oh, I'm sorry, you said eat at. So you want the eat at home and fast food, or eat at home and dine out? You said that one. I'm sorry.
Yes. Thank you.
450. I hope we get a good job with this. What about transportation?
Okay, so we have next up is Wendell. Wendell, are we
Hello,
ready?
Wendell.
I'm ready.
All right, so you have a place to live, food to eat. Now you have to find out what type of transportation you want to have and decide how much to spend. Now, I will tell you, here in the beautiful city of Austin, our young people do ride bikes. But you pick however you want, what's going to work for you.
Okay. If if I'm in Austin, I'm gonna take public transportation.
Okay. $41. You sure you don't want that luxurious auto?
Not at 20 years old.
All right. All right, so we got our fifth person. We're going to do some little clothing. You may be the type to buy clothes every month or just a couple of times a year. You're going to decide how much you want to spend on clothing each month. So select as many items as you would like.
All right, so next up we have Jaime. Jaime.
Yes, I think I'm gonna go shopping. On this one, 20 years old, so that would be second year of college. And it could be 20
to 25. Which one?
Okay. I would say basics for sure. Okay. Some accessories.
Okay.
I'm not sure. The work clothes. Yeah. Go ahead and put them in work clothes.
All right. Stock clothing expense $175 a month. Not bad. All right, we gotta get a little health care. So
thank you, Jaime. Okay, so thank you, Jaime. Thank you. Next up we have Lorraine.
Oh my gosh, you
So-
give me the hard part.
Now, with this question, we're going to pick from both. Now, you don't have to pick anything from two, but unless, you don't care about your teeth. So what kind
No,
of
I really
healthcare?
do care about my teeth.
So what health plan would we like? Are we thinking about employer, basic health, want some good premium?
Oh my gosh. Well, provided I have a job, which at that age I didn't. But let's go with basic health and wait, what's premium individual?
So premium individual is the average amount you would pay for basic health plan when your employer does not pay any of your medical coverage.
Oh, bummer. Okay, let's go with basic.
Okay.
But you know what? I wear glasses, so I have to have vision care, and I really care about my teeth. My parents paid a lot of money for my orthodontist, so I need dip as well.
Not a problem. My 26-year-old just started to do his own insurance, and one of the things when we helped him pick out, he was like, "I gotta have dental and vision."
Uh-huh.
And I told him he was better than me at that age. All right. So my number 7, we got personal care.
Okay, so up next is Dr. Charity Embley.
I'm here. Ooh,
Hello, Doc.
Hello, I have
So,
so many options.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you get to pick as many as you'd like.
Okay, I'll do the
You have to
basics.
take care of yourself. Yes, ma'am.
I'll do the basics, health and fitness, professional services, extras, luxuries, everything.
All right. Woo!
I don't pay rent, so I'm gonna spend on those.
Because that was $650 worth of spending. So, all right.
That will be my
What about
rent.
entertainment? Where's my number 8?
Okay, so hold on here. Hold on. We got to go back a little bit.
That's me.
Okay, so, oh, yes.
Liz.
Hello, Liz. Hello.
Hi. All right.
So you get to choose the activities that you want to participate in.
Oh man, and then you gave me a good one. I love adventure. So I'm gonna go for the adventure bundle.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I'm good with just the adventure bundle.
Okay. All righty. $75. Not bad. We got some miscellaneous for our number 9. This section involves miscellaneous items such as your gadgets, care for your pets, and vacation. You can choose as many items as you would like from this section.
All right, so next up for miscellaneous is going to be Carol.
Okay, if I am 20, 25 years old, electronics, sure.
Okay.
And, I think,
Are you going to have a pet?
yes, I was gonna say pet for sure. And then furniture, yes, go ahead and say furniture because they're gonna, if they have a home, they're living at home.
What about, yeah?
Okay, then
You want to take the furniture and appliances
let's
off?
take that off. If they're living at home, I don't think they're gonna do this, but electronics.
What about some vacation?
Yes, I figured they will go on a vacation on spring break for sure. So I feel confident with those.
I tell you, when my oldest was in his early 20s, I was shocked as often as him and his girlfriend went to other places to visit.
Yes.
I was in my 40s when I took my first vacation. And so where's my number 10 for student loan debt?
All right, next up we have Lorena. There we go.
Hey, Major.
So are you gonna be no loan like I was? I was on a daddy scholarship. Or are you gonna have to have some expenses?
So that's what all students say. I'm not going to have any student loans. So I'm not going to have any debt. But let's be realistic here. And I'll say, how about an associate degree at a public school?
Okay. And we will go next.
All right, so next up, our very own Dr. Olga Escamilla.
Ooh, that's
All
me.
right, now
What
this
is it? Oh.
This is always the most fun question for the students that I work with. What about family?
Well,
and I get the 0 to 100 on this question, but not much in between.
Well, Major,
So
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Yes,
when I
ma'am.
was in my 20s, I was a teen mom, so I already had kids. But I'm going to think, okay, of no children.
All right.
None.
Now, what's always surprising, I guess it's not surprising, when I do this with students, the majority of my male students pick 0. Majority of my female students pick 2 kids until we get to the final expenses, and then they go back and take them kids out. All right, are we going to do a little saving?
Okay.
And this will be my last person, I believe.
Anne Marie, that's you.
That's me. Okay. So, I was just saying in the chat pod when Kelly asked, do you remember being in 20s? I remember really struggling and not having very much. And so, yes, I would think, let's see here. I'm going to go with at least, because I'm living at home, I'm going to go with, oh goodness, I'm going to be ambitious, 5%, because I know that I'm going to need it later on. So, yep.
All right. And so now we get to our final expense page. And what you do is you got a running tally for all the expenses. You can print it, you can email it. But the fun part about this is now we get to look at some of the occupations that are paid. Oh, wow, we're at 35. So we got a lot of occupations with this. I'm going to tell you, most of the time when I do this, we're a 75 and above. My young people are very ambitious. But what you do is you'll get an opportunity to look at the different occupations that will afford you that lifestyle. And then the students can go through and look at it. They can pick one. You know what? Pesticide handler sounds like a really good job. And then you get a profile on it. Do anyone have any questions?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Major, does this take into account the education selected, which was a 2-year public?
I thought about that when Lori picked the associate's degree, and I had never had to think about that before, but that's something I definitely can take a note of and research.
I can jump in real quick, Major. I don't know that it limits it to only the education that you selected, but you can filter the options based on education attainment at the end if you'd like.
So at this point here,
yep,
you can go through. And so we were just doing associates. That does change the occupations. Do we have any other questions?
I'm looking
No,
but I'm sure there'll be more. So just go ahead and put your questions in the chat pod.
It makes me feel lonely when people don't want to ask me stuff.
But one thing, can you expand your screen a little bit? I know people can expand their screen and go wide view, but there you go, a little bit more. Yeah, I think it would be good. There we go, much better. Okay, so Kelly does have a question. She says,
yes, ma'am.
You can actually a great comment. Sorry, I apologize. She says, oh goodness, it went by. You can copy the codes and go into ONIT and see the demands much better, which we are going to do. And then Jaime just says, wow, this tool is amazing. I wish I'd had this tool back when I was 18. Agreed. Definitely going to share this resource with my family members and pretty much with everyone I know. Thanks a lot for this information. And we're not done, Jaime. He's not done. Okay.
And I'll tell you, I saw this done live action in Midland, and the kids were blown away by the experience. So let's get to our next one. I'm going to take you back to our homepage. And if you have forgotten the web address, it's lmci.state.tx.us. And we're going to talk about AutoCoder, which is probably my personal favorite. As Emery mentioned before, I taught both at the middle school and high school level. And part of my high school time was teaching life skills. And I wish I'd have had something like this to really align what my students were capable of doing with real occupations. This would have been such a great help. But what's real good about this tool is you can put your information in here in English and in Spanish, and it will give you back the results in English, but it will read both. And what you'll do is in the job description, you can copy and paste your full resume. And what this is going to allow is for you to match occupations with what you enter. And again, you can have your resume in English, you can have it in Spanish, you can have it a mixture. And once you upload it, it's going to match it to potential occupation title. And this is what it kind of will look like. Put in your resume, and then you're going to see the title, the SOC code, and a scoring. And I'm going to explain the scoring part in a minute. Now, once you pick a particular title that you want to look more into, it's going to take you to, well, first let me explain the scoring. The idea is to get as many of the stars as you can. And if you see the number rating, you want to be between 70 and 100. And the more stars you have, or the higher your percentage number, that is telling you that your particular resume is closely aligned with that occupation title. And so what's good about the scoring is once you click on that occupation, it's going to take you and show you what words you were using in your resume and its point value. That way, if you're looking at a particular occupation and it wasn't at the number level that you wanted, you know to go back and work on adding information to your resume. And this is telling you which words, based on the occupation that you picked, which wording strongly relates to it. And then what you're going to get to is a quick description of it, the lay titles. One of the things I often do with this is I will talk to students about things that they're curious about, their interests. I work a lot with high school kids who are really not sure what their future is going to hold. And I will have them put that information into the job description section. The last school I talked with, they were a graphics design class. And so we did film and editing. And the kids were able to see all of these occupations that populated related to just that interest of film and editing. And one of the things that I point out is you'll get a small box of occupations, but you have to click the view all match results. And then you're going to get the expanded view. And then you're going to get everything. And then you have the opportunity to see occupations that match an interest or match a skill set that you have or anything that you put into this description. I'll often let people know that this system is so good. I had a student say, "Oh, what if we put serial killer in there?" And it matches with the occupation of butcher. So it is a really good tool. And so let me show you what you get when you're on there. Now, one thing I do want to point out is this. If you just Google AutoCoder, when you get a match result, it's only going to look like this. But if you go through the LMCI homepage and you do the AutoCoder through us, then you get an expanded view of what's available. And I'll show you what all that we have. First option is your OCC profiles. If you click this, it's going to actually take you to our summary page. And then you're going to get a whole host of information about that occupation. You'll get to have a video so that you can see what that occupation does. It's going to tell you the job task. It'll tell you related certificates or the educational level that you need for that occupation. If you look under the LMCI wages, one of the things that you have to understand about the wages that you see on our occupational summary page, these are state mean wages. If you want to know what a beginner or an experienced level works makes in that occupation, it'll take you to our LMCI wage page. You can also identify what that particular occupation makes in the different regions in the state of Texas. So it's really good. The other one that I want to point out is the Texas openings. This is actually going to take you to our work in Texas so that you have an opportunity that if you have looked at an occupation and you've identified that you have an interest in it, to see if there are openings for that particular occupation in our system. Do I have any questions, any takeaways?
I don't think so, but you are going to take us live to look at that, right? I think there may be more questions when you go through it again, I think, right?
Yes, ma'am. We are going live now.
Okay.
And if somebody can make sure that you keep me on track of our time.
You were reading my mind. We're at 12:11 right now. And so it's
Okay.
about 20 minutes. And I'm going to put the link again to the Texas AutoCoder in the chat pod again. I did, but I'm going to put it in there again. So we got 20 minutes, Major.
Okay, so I'll be quick. I can do two things. I have a mock resume that I can put in here for us, but if somebody has an interest that they want me to put in, we can do the interest as well. Any volunteers?
And go ahead, since you want to unmute, go ahead and share or put in the chat pod. That's fine too, whatever you feel more comfortable with. But we love to hear voices.
Because I'm feeling lonely.
Okay, here we go. Kelly says, thank you, Kelly. CNA, mathematics major.
Okay.
Wow. Let's do CNA, and then if we have time, we'll do the other one. Thank you both.
Okay. And if somebody help me out, what does the CNA stand for? Because I think that's going to be better. Well, let's put it in the title.
Certified Nursing Assistant.
And let me copy this here in case I want to put it in the description as well. All right. And so, again, you can go here and you can click on to get this description is coming from BLS. You can go back and you can go to our occupation summary page, get information. Let me show you this real quick. And I always like to point this out that, again, we're going to give you the state information here, but now you can click down and get regional information. I do a lot of work in 28. That's where I lived for a long time. And so on the Gulf Coast, this is the information for them. Let me show you the Spanish version. Y'all ready for that? All right, so any other questions about our Texas AutoCoder? Because I know we got about 15 minutes left on it.
I want to just make sure. Okay, so I don't see any questions, and I'll let you know, and we can keep going. And I think the regional data for our students is going to be beneficial. Carol, I agree, Carol. The regional data to really help the students really, narrow in on what's available, I think is important. So we can keep going.
All right. So our next one is going to be Skills to Work. And again, if you have forgotten the website, the web address is lmci.state.tx.us. Takes you to our homepage. Now, our Skills for Work was meant for our military service people to be able to convert their experiences in the military and put it into language that employers would understand. I also use this for our young people. I have students who don't have a lot of work experience, but they have a lot of life experiences. And so I also will use this tool to help them get the language so they can strengthen their resume. And so just like with the AutoCoder, you can copy and paste your resume. And this one will let you upload it. So it actually will make it a little easier for you. You put your resume in, or you can put your skill or your interest. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you occupation titles that relate to what you put in. It's also going to give you down here the detailed work activities. This is kind of like the language that's used based on the occupation title that you picked. And so when I work with young people and they're just putting a list of the skills that they have and it converts it to this more resume and interview language, then I'll have them go back and use this to better build their resume. And the same way with anyone who is putting an actual resume into the system, it is meant to help you build that resume, to strengthen it to the occupations that you're looking at, so that you can have a stronger resume to try to obtain the occupations that you have an interest.
And we do have a question before we leave. Let's go back a page. Great
Here
question. I think right here, great question from Kelly Meeks. Could you use this with adults for listing transferable skills?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of the skills when I talk with students, we're talking about I'll ask kids who, takes leadership roles when you do group work. Who's the person that is encouraging? And I'll have them put those in there. Who is in an extracurricular activity? What are you doing in that activity? And so it is really good to highlight to an employer the skill sets that they're actually looking for that will make you valuable as an employee. So yes, it's very good to put that in there. Now, what I would suggest is not to put one thing, but to put a list of items. It tends to not register when you just put like one or two things, but when you put a list in there, then you'll get something back.
Now, Major, is this where you're going to talk about, because I thought this was really a cool tool, everybody. Is this where you can match up how many words match in the student's resume with what is the verbiage they're using in the job description?
So you can see an example of that, like what I showed you in AutoCoder. This system does run your resume through the same system that AutoCoder is using. But if you wanted to see like what AutoCoder had, I have not run across where they show it in that fashion. Like how many, what words you're using in its point value.
Okay. Okay.
But this it does give you, it does list a scoring.
Okay.
And
So
it does give you a scoring. And what you can do is go back because here where it says edit, there's a function where you get to edit your resume on the previous page. So when you put it in there, you can go back and you can edit and put in things that are missing.
Okay, so basically this is huge. They can go in and look at what they need and then put this in the resume and then go back and see if they can get a higher score.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I think it might be hidden behind it, but what it'll do is it'll pull up a little box in the upper left-hand corner with your resume in it, and then you can go back in there and work on your resume.
Okay,
Good
thank
question.
you. And let's keep the questions coming, everybody, and I'll let you know. We can keep going.
And just like with AutoCoder, if your match is 80 to 100, it's considered to be a high match. If it's 69 to 79, it's considered moderate. Or if it's 60 to 79, it's moderate. And if it's under 60, it's considered a poor match. And that's where you want to either strengthen your resume or maybe there's some more education or skills you need to get for that occupation. Now, this can be used as well to just go and look for potential occupations. So instead of putting your resume in or information, there's a job search function there. And it gives you the opportunity to identify the area that you want to search for an occupation. And then we'll show you its potential employment. You click on the occupation. What it gives you is, the information about the job. And if you click the view posting, it'll actually take you to where it's taking me most of the time is to Indeed. And then you can apply for that position there. And this is what it looked like at the screen at the start. Another resource I wanted to make sure I brought up to everybody was the occupational handbook. That's with BLS. I have found that this is a really, really good resource. A lot of good information. If you're talking to especially recent grads and they're used to the 16 career clusters that they had in high school, they can identify occupations through that. Anne-Marie mentioned earlier the ONET, which is also a very excellent tool. Every occupation that you'll see with us carries that SOC code. It is the same occupations that you find here. I know, Aaron, you and I was talking earlier about using the number, and I'm not sure how to put the number in here. But if you just put the occupation title, it'll pull up here, and then you'll get ONET has a really good thing where all the information's on one page. And it'll tell you if it's an emerging occupation, if it's green, if it has a bright outlook. You'll get a host of information from. And so what I would like to ask is, from my beautiful audience, what are some ways you can use these resources with your adult education students? And this is where I would love for y'all to share out.
Yep, and you can just unmute your mic and share out, greatly appreciated, or put this in the chat pod. And then you know, and if there's something you want to see again too, we can go back, but let's answer this question first. And then if we can, we can go back if there's time. Ashley says research and reading lessons. I think that's a really good one, Ashley. Thank you. What else, everybody?
Oh, cool.
How, Ashley, with reading? Mm-hmm. She says digital literacy. So you would actually do reading lessons. Yep.
Sorry,
Go
I had
ahead.
to find my unmute button. Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways you could, incorporate standards with this. Reading in itself, they are reading, they are researching, they are on a computer, they are getting a lot of skills all at the same time. It's also a good opportunity for career search lessons. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with this, and you could even incorporate vocabulary based on some of the different items that are on there.
Yep, I think that's good.
Thank you.
And then we also have, Lorraine definitely says research. Dr. Embley says incorporate this in our ESL for professionals curriculum. Interesting. Okay, so Liz, sorry, Liz. Liz says this is a fantastic resource to integrate employability skills and develop the iTech plan. Students can also use the research for goal setting. I thought for vocabulary development, do they understand the words on the job requirements? So many of the words that are in the job descriptions, can they understand what the words mean? Root, suffix, prefixes, things like that, because there's a lot of terminology. I thought maybe it'd be a good idea.
Oh, that's some really good responses. Thank you.
Let's see, I think I have them all so far. Anyone else? We have about 4 minutes left. Is there a section you want to go back to? Maybe the Texas AutoCoder? What would you like to see again? Because we've got some time. So what would you like to see? Actually, we have 5 minutes. I don't know why I said 4 minutes. What else would you like to see? Math major. Lorraine is wanting to go back to the Texas AutoCoder and look for math major. Okay.
All right.
Oh, and then there is a question while you're going there. Liz asked, does the LMCI do this as well? I'm sorry, are the LMCI tools available in Spanish like they are on the ONET site?
Lori, can you answer that? Because I have not run across that.
She's gone.
Yeah, she
Oh,
left.
did she go? Oh,
Probably
I've not run across any of our information that is in Spanish. I do know that all of our publications have been translated into Spanish this summer, and so they should be on our main page for download purposes. And I guess people can purchase them as well. But as far as the digital tools, I've not run across it, but I won't say that it isn't there. I just haven't seen it.
So maybe we can look and then email everybody. Okay, so we're looking for math major.
So when I put math major in, these are the occupation titles that came up.
Is this what you needed to see, Lorraine? I'm curious. Is that what you wanted to see? I want to
Yes,
make sure.
but it's kind of depressing. Only 1 star, not 5. Oh, well.
Oh, so if you're using this to just search for occupations, I tell students don't worry about the number system, because we're not putting a resume in there for it to calculate the number of words you use. We're just using it as a system to identify careers related to your interests.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Yes, it does. And I appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So we also have, this is a good one, biology major from Dr. Escamilla, biology major.
Okay. Now y'all stretching my spelling skills. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did. So. Perfect. Yes, you did.
All right.
So
oh, wow. I would have liked to done the zoology stuff. This was good, though I don't think my father would have paid for that degree, but this is very interesting. All right.
Do you think that you'd have to have additional for some of these? Like, I mean, you can have a bachelor's in biology, but that doesn't say you're, in terms of zoologist or even the environmental science. I think you'd have to have more education Or even
Yeah,
the
once you
engineering.
click on them, and then you can, let's go back. Because what's good about it is, like, if that struck your interest, then if you went to our summary page, then it would tell you what most people in that position have. And a person can go, oh, this is the extra education that I'll need for this occupation.
And if you notice, just for everybody, just to see this, you can save it as a PDF. So to Ashley's point, you can use some of these resources in a lesson plan and have them go through and do things. So you can download, you can save those and use them in a lesson. I think that's great.
And typically, if I was talking with somebody that had an interest in, like, in the sciences, I would probably ask a little more questions, is like, what are they interested in doing with it? And then put that information in. Then we can kind of get a different look, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. We are at the 1 minute mark. Great comments in the chat pod. I know you wanted to bring this up real quick. And then if there's any last minute questions, put them in there and we can stay 1 or 2 minutes possibly. But go ahead, Major.
Yes, this is our career information hotline, and an individual can call this number as often as they like. They can ask us about 3 different careers, 3 different colleges and universities, and we will do the research and we'll send that information out. Our goal is to have all our Texans employed and to like what they're employed in.
Yeah. I had no idea this existed. So this is a wonderful resource, everyone, for the students to be able to use.
And we get, high school, middle school students calling, as well as people who are post high school. So we get a broad range of people who call our hotline number.
What's the turnaround for people to call them back or to get them the information? What's the turnaround on this?
So pre-pandemic, we had a 5 to 7 day turnaround on you receiving the information.
Okay.
Now, because I don't know how often the gentleman that actually puts it together, I think he's in the office 3 days a week. And so that might factor into the time frame.
Excellent. Okay.
And then he might be back full time there. So I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yep. All right. Well, we're at 12:31 and let's see if there's 1 more minute for last minute questions. And I love this slide, by the way, Major. I'd love for you to read that. Can you just read that? I love that.
Career development is a lifelong pursuit, and the TWC LMCI resources will empower you with the tools and skills to support your career journey. I like to remind students that just because you get your first job, you don't have to still keep trying to learn new skills. That learning happens the rest of your life.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, Major, it has been wonderful spending the last couple months getting ready for these presentations and having you on. Hopefully this will not be the last time I can get you to come and do a Tech and Tell webinar, and we so appreciate your enthusiasm and your information with LMCI. It's been a pleasure. And I also want to thank everyone on the webinar today for being with us and being good sports with participating with our live voice response activity. We appreciate you so much. And
thank you.
I do want to give a shout out. Mark your calendars, everybody. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Embley, who's on our webinar today, and she is going to be presenting in November on live binders. Registration is available in the PD portal, so register for that. She'll be on with her colleague, Marie Covert from Odessa, and they'll be on. So look forward to that. And thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon wherever you are. I hope it's not too cold and not too warm. As I like to say, the cold weather has finally gotten to Houston, thank goodness. So on behalf of Train PD, we're going to roll out here. Thank you so much and take care, everybody.